little fired up today, and I know that I am in the minority view. People look at baseball differently than they used to look at baseball, including my good buddy Jason Stark, who we played a soundbite from Jason. He was on yesterday on the afternoon show, and he was talking about how he went against the grain of me with and he agreed with you about taking Alvarado out of the game and not letting him face Gio Urshela and also pinch hitting. But we're past that now, and we're on to a new topic. And this is a very small topic to a lot of people, but not to me. There's a punk who plays shortstop for the Atlanta Braves named Orlando Arcia.
He is a punk.
And first of all, if you're a mediocre player and you do stuff like that, you definitely should go down, right? Like he's not one of these guys that people go, oh, he's an all-star caliber player. He's a punk. And so what he did yesterday, the old school would never let him get away with that because he tried to one-up and show up the Phillies' best player and one of the best players in the Major League Baseball in Bryce Harper. He hits a home run, and you saw it. He rounds first base and then gives Harper the stare. Based on last year's little snafu that those two guys had together where he went off in the locker room when Harper got picked off of first base to end a playoff game, and he went, thanks, Harper, or whatever he said, and that became an issue. So Harper, after hitting a home run later in the series, hit two, in fact, stared him down, okay? So now we're even. All right, that's an even Steven. Now, you don't do anything else to poke the bear, but last night he continued it when he hits a home run, and he stares him down. Not once as he come around first base, but then as between second and third, he gave him another little look. Like, you paying attention, bro? I just went deep on you for a 2-0 lead. Baseball is a sport that polices itself. And when another player tries to show you, it doesn't happen much anymore because players have more dignity where they're not going to show up another player. They're more chummy than they used to be. When a guy does something like that, and your team noticed it, they noticed it. The Phillies noticed it. There's no question in my mind. And you know who should have noticed it more than anybody? Aaron Nola. Now, there are people out there saying, Mike, that's foolish. That's silly. Why would you do something like that? You got you're down 2-0. You can't afford to put another guy on base. I'm not saying hit a man. What I'm saying is the guy who led off the next inning was their best hitter, Marcell Ozuna. He comes up, he digs in, he gets that back foot, and he digs it in. And if you're Aaron Nola, the first pitch should be up and in. I'm not saying hit a guy, put a guy on base. I'm saying, hey, just want to let you know we're paying attention. And your punk shortstop has to calm it down because I'm about to hit you the next time. You're the best player. You're the one that's going to have to pay for what your little punk shortstop did. Now, this is a small issue because the bigger issue is the Phillies came back and won that game, and Rob Thompson pushed the right buttons. And they produced a small ball run to win that game last night. After Dub, it's a double off the wall. Stott manages to move him to third with a long drive to center field. You know, you're supposed to pull the ball there, but that's just as well. He gets in the third, and then the sacrifice fly, Brandon Marsh, who pinch hits in that particular situation. So he let Weston Wilson hit, and then he pinch hit in the right spot with Brandon Marsh. So managers got to get credit for that. But I couldn't get past the Arcia thing.
Yeah, so to Rob Thompson real quick, I've questioned a few of his decisions over the last couple of days. I got to give him credit last night because the analytics probably would have told him to pinch hit for Wilson. He doesn't. Trusts his gut, trusts his eyeballs. Wilson's been hitting very well, keeps him in the game. He rewards him with a double. And we're not calling him Wilson anymore. He's Dub. He's our buddy Dub.
Yep.
And then the fact that he makes the decision to pinch hit for Rojas with Brandon Marsh, when you only need contact there, you need a fly ball. Marsh is striking out at a rate of 38% this year, but he trusts his guy. He builds confidence in his guy. So I got to give Thompson credit. Did press the right buttons last night.
Let's face it. The buttons were easy to push. Because you're not going to pinch hit for Weston Wilson. You're not going to pinch hit Cal Stevenson in that situation for Weston Wilson.
You could have pinch hit Marsh earlier.
Yeah, but Marsh is not a contact guy, so it was laid out for him. He wasn't going to. He likes Weston Wilson a lot, so he's going to give him a chance. He trusts him a lot more than he would trust. And then it was inevitable that he would had to pinch hit for Rojas there. So he was saving Marsh for Rojas, and he wasn't going to use Cal Stevenson in that particular situation. But he pushed the right button. It's really simple. Would you have let Rojas hit there?
No,
really.
No, although Rojas is hitting better than anybody in that outfield
situation,
right now.
You probably would not have, let him hit in that situation, right?
No, I probably wouldn't have let him hit.
So let me ask you a question. You're not a baseball man. This kind of thing, is in my DNA.
Well, you didn't.
The show up thing. I don't like it a little bit.
So for me, right now, talking about Arcia, let's go back to the punk on the Braves.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you've said outside of the fact that I don't know if Nola should have thrown at him or at Ozuna, because I don't think you even bring light to the fact of how ridiculous it is that this is a regular season game in the fourth inning, and he's going to stare down. Arcia's going to stare down Harper. What Harper did was in the playoffs, Game 3, in the postseason. To me, I just think you ignore it, because to throw at anybody means you're acknowledging they even care about this guy Arcia, which it was, to me, it's ridiculous.
This is your best player. He tried to show up your best player by hitting a home run and staring him down. Now, I know people are out there go, that's ridiculous, Mike, to think. I'm not saying to hit Ozuna in that situation. I am saying zing it. Now, Noel's not a zinger, so he's a nibbler. So that's unfortunate. Now, and maybe tonight something happens, but you have to protect your best player who that guy tried to humiliate, and you do it against their best player, and then that best player goes, "Hey, yo, Orlando, don't do that anymore, because I'm the guy that's going to take your heat." That's the way it works in baseball. That's the way it should work in baseball. No matter all these pacifists now that look at baseball and go, "That's ridiculous." No, it isn't ridiculous.
No, I'm all with you when it's time to send a message and police yourselves. What I'm saying in this situation, though, the only reason I wouldn't be behind it is because I don't think you give any credibility to what Orlando Arcia did. It was a joke. It's the fourth inning of a regular season game, and you end up losing the game anyway, Orlando.
Were people paying attention to that? Were the announcers paying attention to it? Did you read the stories in today's paper about paying attention to it? Everybody else is giving credence to it. Why shouldn't you? It was done to you. It's an issue. People write about those kind of issues. The announcers talk about those kind of issues. You don't ignore it. I got to break you in. I swear to God, I got to break you into baseball thinking. Hey, you sound like Jason Stark, who's my good buddy.
And you didn't hear the whole clip. He started it off saying, I want to address Bill, the baseball guy, because Mike, being a football meathead, doesn't understand the way that you should.
Jason has turned into a pacifist. Jason has covered baseball for a really long time, where a guy like Kruk or Dalton would see something like that, and that's why I love that era of baseball. They say, see what that did? They're not going to let him do that to us. He's just trying to do that to our best player. Guess what? Ozuna's got to go down. Now, again, the circumstances to hit him, and if you're down 2-0, it's probably not the right approach. Throwing up and in is the right approach, and maybe tonight they do something about it. It's like Tommy in Goodfellas, when Spider said, "Go bleep yourself, Tommy." And then De Niro got up and go, "You're going to let that punk get away with that?" That's what I saw last night with Orlando Arcia.